Bong Joon Ho's latest movie, and it stars Robert Pattinson. Warner Brothers Pictures finally released the first trailer for Parasite and Snowpiercer director Bong Joon Ho's next feature and the darkly comedic sci-fi thriller Mickey 17. The film was originally slated for last March, but reportedly impacted by strikes and other production shifts that led it to requiring more time in post-production. The story follows Mickey, a disposable employee sent to colonize an ice world. Under his contract with the company, anytime he dies, his body is simply reprinted, albeit with his memories still preserved. The problem soon happens when his 17th incarnation, he comes home to find his 18th incarnation in bed, leading to all sorts of problems, having two versions of himself at once. Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo, Steven Yeun, and Naomi Ackie co-star in the film based on Edward Ashton's novel. The project marks Bong's first feature since Parasite, becoming the first non-English language movie to win Best Picture at the Oscars. So the movie comes out in 2017. And I am curious about this film. Now, it was moved. This is the one. Normally, this is what I would say. That it's concerning that the movie was moved from March until January of 2025, because January is normally a toilet bowl for movies in general, right? The only reason I don't feel as much is the first question is this getting a limited release in December to qualify for Oscars? That's part one, which I don't know if it is or if it isn't. Part two, everything was moved to 2025. Everything. And so if everything, I mean, there was so much because of the strikes that was moved to 2025. And if that was the case, and they're like, well, where do we put this? Where are if we put it in February, it's going to get annihilated by so-and-so big release. It's going to get this. If we put it in March and April, that's almost starting a summer season because all that stuff got backed out. The amount of stuff coming out in 2025 is insane. So if they go, well, why don't we put it out in January? We'll get some buzz on this thing, and we'll have a really strong January. And they're promoting it. They're putting, they're going to put some stuff behind it. I mean, you're going to have to. So normally I'd be nervous about a January move, but because of the strike, I'm like, okay, it makes a little bit more sense, and it's so stacked. But I don't know. Should I be more concerned, or does that make sense?
No, I think that I really trust Bong Joon Ho. This man has only made a handful of movies when you think about kind of how talented and what he can. He could be making a movie a year if he wanted to, but really, really worked on enough movies where they all are hits. Like if you watch every single one of his movies is a good or great or perfect movie, in my opinion. So I think that I trust his process a lot. And I do think that it was in the moment of a strike where all of these movies, like you said, got moved. So I'm not too concerned about it. And a lot of the delay could have been as simple as, well, now that we are holding it back, let's just wait because this feels like the best date, as opposed, like it might already be ready, locked.
Totally. And I think that the trailer represents that this is, I mean, the trailer looks cool. I mean, the trailer,
really cool.
The trailer looks cool. It looks, I mean, I like this kind of quirky role for Robert Pattinson. I've been a Robert Pattinson fan since the Rover film. The movie Rover, when that movie came out, I remember when Ellis and I saw it, I went, oh, this poor guy has been so misrepresented in these Twilight movies because he did what he had to do in those movies, but he's going to get stereotyped, and he blew past that stereotype because he was great. Even go back and you look at how good he was in the Harry Potter movie. He was good in that movie too, but like it was that hold that Twilight had on, and can he do? I remember Winston and I talk about this famously when he was on Collider Live, and Roxy and I were saying, it was before he was even cast. We're like, what would be great Batman is Robert Pattinson.
Oh,
and, yeah, there's video evidence of it. And Winston was like so opposed to it and said, nah, the Twilight kid, come on. I'm like, you can't judge it on the Twilight. You can't. He's such a good actor, and then other good times, other stuff that he's done is just he is a very, very solid actor. So to play with this and then put him with a director of this caliber, and looking at his first movie since Parasite, it looks solid. It just, January scares me.
Yeah, I really liked instantly that you hear his voice before you see him talking. I don't know, for me, it mentally like adjusted me more to him taking a character choice that was pretty intense, judging from the fact that he's a British actor. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like a huge leap in voice acting for him. And then when I saw the character, I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I just think it looks really great. It looks, I mean, there are shows like similar to this, but I like this kind of genre, and I'm curious how it differs itself, but I'm sure it is different in some way if Bong Joon Ho decided to take this project on.
Yeah, me too. And I think that is this from this novel, and I like the idea. It's almost like what's the Tom Cruise movie, the Edge of Tomorrow, like that type of idea. The person just keeps dying, you keep coming back, but this time it's combined with another one that survives. And there was a script, and I wish I had Naveed. I just don't want to text him right now, but Naveed was working on this script, and I think Eric Olson when I was working at Silver. And it was essentially kind of this respawning of this character that kept coming back, kept coming back, kept coming back. And it's similar to this. But this is the type of movie, the reason why I get excited for it, it's because, and I know, and I don't blame you guys who are watching live or watching on the replay or just bored with me saying this all the time. But I love this kind of deep, character-driven, story-based, you don't have to spend $100 million on it. Let's trust the audience that they're going to be able to lock in, intellectually and just be on this journey with us. And let's just watch actors be actors, directors be directors, editors be editors. This is the type of movie that could assemble the whole team and show you what filmmaking is all about. It could also miss, but it just, and then you combine science fiction with it and all that. You got me interested.
Yeah, definitely. And then I always like to look at the comments first off to see where people are at. And it's so funny when people want to root for you, they really are great. And people want to root for Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson right now, which is a turn from before, just a few years ago. Everyone's like, I don't want him as Batman. And now everyone's like, more Pattinson.
Right.
And then people like Bong Joon Ho, so everyone's like, I'm in the theater for this one. I saw so many comments that were saying that I'm in the theater for this one, which is always really nice to see.
I hope so, because as I mentioned, there is so much competition in 2025. It is insane how much competition there is. I mean, I can even bring up, I'm going to bring up the releases again. I've done this before, but I want to show everybody again, just to reiterate how crazy 2025 is. I mean, it's insane, Steph. I mean, let's go through it again, and I will.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up here right now. Actually, let's do it this way. Okay, so this is the rest of the year right now, but I'm going to get to January. Starting in January of 2025, it is insanity. Wow, there's a lot still going on in November. Holy moly. All right, January. So you've got Wolfman, let's see, whatever January 10th is, Den of Thieves, January 17th, Paddington in Peru, Wolfman, Better Man, January 24th, Flight Risk, Presence, some other things. But then January 31st is where Mickey, so it's like the edge of January is Mickey 17. It's like the edge. You got Dogman also coming out, both on January 31st. Then February 2025, you've got a re-release of Cowboy Bebop. You got With Love on February 7th, Bridget Jones, Captain America, The Smurfs, and another Romeo and Juliet movie, all on February 14th. That's a big Valentine's Day. February 21st, The Monkey, Unbreakable Boy. March 25th, an untitled Disney film, untitled Ryan Coogler film. March 14th, Black Bag, Novocaine. March 21st, Alto Nights, Snow White, The Woman in the Yard. And then April 4th, Minecraft. April 11th, untitled Disney film, The Amateur. April 18th, Michael, untitled Warner Brothers, untitled Angel Studios film. And then this is where it gets crazy stuff. The summer, listen to this in May. Thunderbolts, Flowerville Street, Mission Impossible 8, untitled Disney film, The New Karate Kid. Then June 6th, the new John Wick spinoff, Ballerina. June 13th, Elio, How to Train Your Dragon live action. 28 years later, untitled Warner Brothers film, F1, Megan 2, untitled Sony Marvel live action. And then July, Jurassic World Rebirth, untitled Disney film, untitled Angel Studios film, untitled Matt Stone, Trey Parker, Superman, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Naked Gun, The Fantastic Four, and that's just July. I mean, this is up until July. And then The Bad Guys 2, untitled Warner Bros. Event. The list goes on and on. So point is, that's just leading up to August and what's coming out. So it's just like, if I'm Mickey 17, it's like, stick it at the end of January, play us into February, and get us out of the way of the big dogs.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's a crazy slate. Like once you get into it, I'm thinking those movies are a lot of the ones that you named are so on my list that I feel like it's going to be my biggest theater going year in a long time.
Yeah, it seems like it. So what say you guys? Do you think that Mickey 17 is going to be a hit? Do you think it's going to be a miss? Do you think it's right to put it in January? Are you excited to see it? Could it be one of those big surprise hits? Or could it be just something that, just falls by the wayside? We'll see.